Welcome all of you in my today's video lecture, that is most important questions from and Phytochemistry second semester fifth. So in this video lecture we will discuss all the questions which can be asked for your upcoming semester. Listen carefully and note down all the questions, that is very useful for your exam. So first of all, start with the unit first, and before that we will discuss about the unit first content, then we will go questions from this unit. Let's get through the metabolic pathways in higher plants and their determination. जितने भी metabolic pathways होंगे for the formation of different secondary metabolites to these pathways, like chemic acid pathway, acetate pathways, and amino acid pathways. So these are the three pathways by which secondary metabolites can be prepared. These three pathways are very important from the exam point of view, and from this pathway, the one that is chemic acid pathway, this is must for 10 mark or for 5 mark. Prepare the chemic acid pathway very well, and all the structures from this pathway, their names. So this pathway definitely ask for 10 mark or for 5 mark. First of all, prepare all the pathway. First on the one that is chemic acid pathway and their formation, secondary metabolites to these three pathways. This is the chapter 1. Next we will discuss chapter 2 in that unit first, right? That is radioactive isotopes. Radioactive isotopes in the investigation of biogenetic studies. So this is the second chapter, and one question also come from this topic, that is write a note on utilization of radioactive isotopes in the biogenetic studies. So mainly from unit first, there are fixed topic like chemic acid pathway from this topic, and another 5 mark question is that that is the utilization of radioactive isotopes. These two questions are very easy and can be referred as like a fixed question from this topic. Don't miss these questions, like that is the these three pathways and the utilization of radioactive isotopes. Gain maximum marks from this topic, so it is will helpful for you to score the maximum marks in semesters. These are the syllabus from the unit first. Then we will go the questions from the topic. That first question is explain in detail about chemic acid pathway and with structure and its significance. So this is the question from this topic, that is chemic acid pathway. Explain in detail about chemic acid pathway with its structure and its significance. Second question is explain in detail about tracer techniques or radioactive isotopes in investigation of biogenetic. Question is topic second, that is chapter number second. First one is from chapter number 1. There are the different pathways of biogenetic material, the chemic acid pathway, and second one is tracer techniques or radioactive isotopes for investigation of biogenetic pathway. These two questions, this chemic acid pathway basically depends upon the examiner choice. Also ask for 5 mark, or in combination can be also asked for 10 marks, but it's definitely come for the exam, chemic acid pathway. So prepare this pathway very well, and also these tracer techniques, radioactive isotopes. Next, third question is distinguish between primary and secondary metabolites and explain the chemic acid pathway. So this chemic acid pathway also come in combination with the other questions like distinguish between primary and secondary metabolites. So these primary and secondary metabolites separately come for 5 marks also. This chemic acid pathway come separately for 5 mark as well. First of all, prepare all the questions for 10 mark, and it will be definitely helpful for to write the answers for 5 mark and 2 mark. So prepare all the questions in the way of 10 mark will definitely helpful for you to write the answers of the other questions. So next move forward to the 5 mark questions, that is define a radio tracer technique, explain various detectors used tracer techniques. Okay, so this is also from chapter 2nd, that is tracer techniques. Next, write a note on acetate pathway and amino acid pathway. So from this, only one can be asked. So two questions are prepared from this. Write a note on acetate pathway, or write a note on amino acid pathway, or write a note on cyclamic acid pathway. 5 mark question can be prepared from this total 3 pathways. So prepare all the pathways. It will be definitely helpful for you to write the answers. Next, distinguish between primary and secondary metabolites. When you see carefully, these are the questions separately asked from this 10 mark topic. So first of all, you prepare 10 mark questions. Automatically, your half of the syllabus can be covered from these 10 mark questions. Prepare in this manner. First of all, note down all the questions from the unit wise, from unit first to unit fifth. That is 10 mark questions. Prepare those all 10 mark questions. Then study proper these 10 mark questions. Automatically, your half of the syllabus can be covered, and then focus on 5 mark questions, 2 mark questions separately that are from important topic. Okay, so this is the way of the study to score the maximum marks. Next, right, third question is over. Distinguish between primary and secondary metabolites with examples. Fourth question is, what is the method used to in insertion of radio labeled isotope plant? Sub question, mainly focus on this radio tracer techniques, these total 3 pathways, then distinguish primary and secondary metabolites with examples. So these are the 5 mark questions you need first. Then move forward to the 2 mark question. You need first define radioisotopes. Points are repeatedly asked from every questions. That is from 10 mark, 5 mark, 2 mark. Then write a note on autoradiography. So these are the points and focus for 2 marks. Definitions are there. Okay. Define primary and secondary metabolites with suitable examples. Next question, comment on liquid scintillation counter. So like these questions, prepare for 2 marks. That is autoradiography, liquid scintillation counter, also autoradiography and its significance. These are the repeatedly asked questions the semesters. Prepare these questions, helpful for you to write the answers in the exam. These are the 2 mark questions you need first. So when we talk about 10 mark question, pathways, radio tracer techniques, primary and secondary metabolites. In 5 mark question, these questions are repeated in 5 marks. So radio tracer pathways, their insertion of radio labeled isotopes. Then you need first 2 mark questions, that is autoradiography, primary secondary metabolites, liquid scintillation counter. That are the questions first. Then move forward to the unit second. First of all, let's discuss the syllabus and note the important point from this topic. When you talk about the alkaloids, okay, these are the drugs, and drugs are there. So in that you have to study their introduction, their composition, their chemistry, chemical class, biosources, their therapeutic and commercial application of following secondary metabolites. तो जो ड्रग का सब कुछ उसका जो बायोग्राफी है आपका इसमें स्टडी करना है, लाइक कंपोजिशन, केमिस्ट्री, केमिकल क्लास, बायोसोर्स, थेरापेटिक यूज, जो भी उसका फैमिली होगा वो आपको स्टडी करना है इस पीरियड में. सो इट इज़ नॉट पॉसिबल टू remember all the drugs, but some of them can be very important. So focus on those topics only, like in the alkaloids and Rauwolfia alkaloids. So in phenyl propanoids and flavonoids, so it is not that important. 2 mark question can this topic. Next, glycosides are important. Cardiac glycoside, that is digitalis, for 10 mark. It is very important. Digital is next. Volatile oils. In volatile oils, flow is important. Flow and funnel. Next, pterocarpus is for 5 mark, tannins. Pterocarpus. So mainly note this point and the important the metabolites. Okay, so it is easy to study proper and specifically specific points. In resins asafoetida for 5 mark. Asafoetida 5 marks. In glycosides, senna and alloys are important. We'll discuss these questions also. All mainly focus on this topic, point out the important point from this topic. These are the some important point and syllabus. Then move forward to the questions. Mainly questions can be asked from this topic like write the biological source, biology, their microscopy, their chemical constituents, uses, adulterants, and substituents of Ravalfia. So, with already discussion, that is Vinca alkaloids, Clo, Senna, Ophoidida, can be asked for 10 mark. These are the important one. Next, cardiac glycosides and digitalis. Digitalis, most from this. What are cardiac glycosides? Explain in detail the pharmacognosy of digitalis. Most IMP question this topic. Digitalize, alkaloids, Raulfia. So these are the 5 points that can be most to study from these topics. Next, what are alkaloids? Explain the drugs which under the alkaloids and also write their chemical test. Question can be asked also asked like this. First of all, definition of alkaloids. Then, what are the drugs which comes under this topic? Then, their chemical test. This way, with combination of 2 to 3 points, question can ask for 10 mark. But mainly in this topic, the pharmacognosy like their all the biological morphology chemical constituent can be asked from this topic. So mainly focus digital is Raulfia, Senna, Clo, Asafoetida, and Vinca alkaloid. I have repeatedly told that these are the important points. That to prepare this first of all from this topic will be definitely helpful for you to write the answers. So, like unit first, in unit second, these are the important point. Then move forward to the 5 mark questions. In that first one, describe the microscope of the globe with label diagram. Mainly in this 5 mark, separately questions can be asked on morphology, biological source, their chemical test. So in that second question is there, that is explain the chemical test for volatile oils. Next, questions, give the biological source, chemical test, uses of benzoin. 5 mark, this type of question asked. Then fourth question, give the botanical source and chemical constituents of alloys and tea. So these are the some points for 5 mark question. Then next move forward the 2 mark questions. Mainly in 2 marks, their biological source, also their chemical test can also ask for 2 mark. Prepare all their biological sources, their microscopy, their chemical test. Okay, their chemical test are must for the 2 marks. Like fourth question is that explain modified round triangles test. Then third question, write botanical source and chemical constituent of senna, Eurocalphus. Okay, digitalis. First of all, you prepare 10 mark question, automatically 2 mark questions are covered this topic. These are the question. Second, then move forward to the question from the topic we need third, that is the isolation, identification, analysis of phytoconstituents. Isolation, identification, and analysis of phytoconstituents. That terpenoids are there, glycosides, alkaloids, and resins. Okay. From this topic, like atropine, alkaloids, atropine is important. Then curcumin, menthol, atropine, reserpine, caffeine, alkaloids. mainly asked from these alkaloids. Okay. Atropine, caffeine, curcumin, and menthol. So prepare these 3 to 4 drugs very well. That is their isolation, identification, and analysis of phytoconstituents. So move forward to the questions for this topic. Write the isolation, identification, and analysis of caffeine. Another question: write isolation, identification, and analysis of atropine. Okay. Similar question can be asked from these 4 to 5 metabolites like caffeine, atropine, reserpine, and menthol. Prepare these 4 5 points for the 10-mark questions. Next, move forward to the 5 marks. Write a short note on caffeine. Write its chemical test for the identification. Their chemical test can be asked for 5 marks from this topic, like artemisinin and curcumin. So curcumin, artemisinin are the minor topics asked for 5 marks from this topic. So prepare it for 5 mark and prepare the caffeine, atropine, reserpine, and menthol for 10 mark. So it will be helpful for you to write the answers. Okay. And it is not easy to remember all the drugs, alkaloids. Okay. So mainly point out the important topics from the unit first to unit fifth. The points which we asked repeatedly in the previous exam. Okay. And mainly lots of questions can be prepared from pharmacognosy and phytochemistry second. Mainly focus first of all important part, then you have a lot of time, then focus on my part. Okay. Then move forward to the 2 mark question. What is biological source of curcumin? The chemical test of atropine. So this type of question asked for 2 mark. Then move forward to the unit 4, that is industrial production utilization of the following phytoconstituent. In that, for scoline is for 5 mark, it is important. Then atropine, vincristine and vinblastine. Vincristine and vinblastine are important, which we'll discuss in the questions. In that 10-mark question, describe in detail the industrial production estimation utilization of following phytoconstituent. First of all, their industrial production, their estimation, their utilization of caffeine. Caffeine is important. Vincristine and vinblastine. Tenoside, artemisinin. These are the 4 it can be asked in the previous exam. We have to prepare these questions. There is no option for this. Prepare these all the drugs: caffeine, vincristine, vinblastine, tenoside, and artemisinin. Their industrial production, utilization of these 4. It is for 10 mark. So from this topic, one 10-mark question is compulsory. Question is compulsory, or vincristine or vinblastine can be asked propane and caffeine. So prepare this for 10 mark and then move forward to the 5-mark question. In that, explain in detail the industrial production and isolation of forskolin. This forskolin can be definitely asked for 5 marks. Choline, focus this forskolin for 5 marks. Next, explain the estimation and utilization of digoxin. Separately questions, topic asked for 5 mark. First of all, focus 10-mark question will be cover the 50% of the syllabus, then move forward to the 5 mark, then move forward to the 2-mark question. So last in the topic, 2-mark question, to the biological source and uses of citral. To the biological source and uses of forskolin. This forskolin can be definitely for 5 mark or 2 mark, definitely asked. Where this forskolin, their biological source uses, like in the first question, with the biological source and uses of citral. These are the 2-mark questions, this topic. Then move forward to the next point in the last unit, unit 5th, that is phytochemistry. So in this phytochemistry, must focus on the chromatography and electrophoresis. Focus on this chromatography and electrophoresis. This electrophoresis definitely asks for 5 marks in the exam. This electrophoresis. Okay. And this chromatography is for 10 mark. So these are the method of extraction, applications, the latest technique like spectroscopy, chromatography, and electrophoresis, because these are the application type questions from this topic. And these applications type question can be mainly focused for 10 mark, because it is necessary to apply the things we study in the B Pharm. Mainly this chromatography it helpful for your post graduation also. This electrophoresis technique, their isolation of these crude drugs. So these techniques are very important from the exam point of view, also for their other competitive exams. So prepare these chromatography and electrophoresis spectroscopy technique, and this is the easy part from the pharmacognosy. Easy part is there, that is chromatography, spectroscopy, and electrophoresis. Like, so mainly focus on unit first, unit fifth are the theory type questions, and it can be remembered easily. So you no need to give your energy. Questions can be prepared as very easily, and then mainly focus on the unit second, that is alkaloids. First of all, prepare unit first, unit fifth. Your half of the syllabus can be covered. Minor questions from this topic, and it can be fixed questions. Okay? So in that, first question is explain the various modern methods of extraction and explain in detail about supercritical fluid extraction. Supercritical fluid extraction. Note these questions, it can be very helpful for your exam. Second question, classify chromatographic methods. Classify chromatographic methods. I repeatedly told that chromatographic are very important. Explain in detail about column chromatography. Prepare all the chromatographic methods. Prepare all the chromatographic spectroscopic methods, and it can be easily studied and remembered. So mainly focus on this topic, 10 mark question. Third question, explain the isolation, purification, and identification of drugs by the application of chromatography and spectroscopy. So these are the some 10 mark questions from this topic. Then when we talk about 5 mark questions from this topic, mainly focus on electrophoresis. This electrophoresis give you 5 mark in the electrophoresis. Mainly focus on electrophoresis. When we talk about write a note on extraction and its methods, question, what is the role of electrophoresis, isolation, purification, and identification of crude drugs? Then UV spectroscopy. Okay. UV spectroscopy is also important for 5 mark. Then all the chromatographic methods. Then the role of column chromatography, isolation, phytoconstituent. Okay, so these are the 5 mark questions from this topic. Then in 2 mark question, lots of questions from this topic can be asked for 2 mark. That first one, what is gas chromatography? What is electrophoresis and its application? What is HPTLC? What is TLC applications? Lots of questions prepared from this topic for 2 mark. Then define chromatography and electrophoresis. Okay, don't skip any part from this topic. That unit 5th. Okay, in unit 5th, don't skip any of the one topic from topic. It can be helpful for you to score the marks. So, these are the questions from this topic. Mainly, first of all, revise all the questions. The important topic, unit first to unit 5th. So, unit first, mainly focus on these pathways and radioactive isotopes. First of all, study unit first very well, then move forward to the direct to the last unit, that is unit 5. 5 is must for you to score the marks. 5. Then move forward to the unit second. In unit second, mostly first focus on the 5 parts: Rolfia, alkaloids, close, and data digitalis. First of all, prepare these only, and then you have sufficient time, and then move to other part. Otherwise, don't touch to the other part. It will necessary to first of all study this important part. Okay. Then in unit third, first of all, prepare these 3 to 4 questions: caffeine, atropine, reserpine, and menthol. Okay. When you study lots of syllabus from this topic, it can be very confusing, and it will it will be create a problem for you to write the answers in the exam. So prepare specific questions from these. It will be easy to write the answers. Next, unit fourth. In unit fourth, mainly focus on vinblastine, caffeine, okay, stenoside, their industrial production, estimation, and utilization of the following phytoconstituent. So, unit fifth we have already discussed. Don't skip this. Unit fifth, already told. Unit first and unit fifth is compulsory. Don't skip any part of this topic. Don't skip. These are the questions from this topic. So prepare all these questions. First of all, note these questions and then study one by one from unit first to unit fifth. It will be very helpful for you. Write the answers and score the maximum mark. These are the questions from the Pharmacognosy and Phytochemistry second semester fifth. So thank you all of you. Like my channel, share and subscribe.